This morning, we're going to be talking about a growth mindset. How do you build it? And we're going to have 5 questions that are really powerful, interesting, that you can use for journaling, other exercises for reflection this Friday. And additionally, we're just going to go over 5 benefits and even a bonus of what a growth mindset does for an individual. Enjoy the show, friends. Financially free and enjoy more of what the world has to offer. This action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch. So a little one-person trampoline, very I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Tanner Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercise to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people we love and care about most. Good morning, and we have a great one today, and maybe you've heard of this term before in the world of personal development, this growth mindset. And it's like, oh yeah, duh, I should have a growth mindset, this and that. But I think it's useful to go over this and to just, this is an exercise I do with clients. We're just going to run through these questions. So I'm going to have 5 questions to help create a growth mindset. And then additionally, we're just going to go over some 5 benefits of leveraging a growth mindset. So asking some questions, go ahead. You can always come back and you can rewatch these videos. We're all over. Every single one of the morning shows is on YouTube forever. So you can go back and watch any ones you want. So if we're running through them pretty quick for time's sake this morning, don't feel free to pause, to come back and to use them, share these questions with coworkers, people you're working with, and all that good stuff. So this morning, we're talking about a growth mindset. Let's get on the board. Growth mindset. How's everyone doing this morning? Doing good? And we're gonna go over some questions for it, and then additionally we want to touch on some benefits. So we want to be able to say, okay, these are the questions that we have back pocket, and additionally, okay, Tanner, this is all fanny dandy this morning on this Reflection Friday, but why does it even help me? So I like going over the questions first, just so we have it and this and that. And of course, my viewership usually is more on the front side of the video. So it's like, all right, let's try and get as much value as quickly as possible out to everyone. So 5 questions to create a growth mindset. First and foremost, what can I learn from this experience? This is a question. We back pocket these questions as we go through the day. So right this morning, this morning, you might not have a challenge, or you probably do. We all have a lot of problems, random parts of the day. It gets pretty chaotic, right? Asking yourself, what can I learn from this experience? So next time it feels like you're running into a literal brick wall, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? By being able to use this question instead of getting pissed off, it's super powerful in the sense that this is retraining our brain and our mindset. They're like, Tanner, how do you get muscles? How do you make money? How do you do this? How do you do that? And the answer is always the same, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but it's the truth. You just practice it like anything else. How do you get good at violin? How do you get good at football? How do you get good at drinking water? How do you get good at meditating? We practice. So having a little grace for ourselves this Friday, if we haven't been practicing lately, then we can't be surprised that we're having a hard time handling this stuff. So first and foremost, the question to back pocket is, what can I learn from this experience? So next time you're dealing with a coworker or something, ask this question, write it down, keep it for later. What can I learn from this experience? On to number 2, am I open to new ideas and perspectives? Am I open to new ideas and perspectives? For example, we have reference politics a lot because it's just easy. And There is, on one side of it, I was reading Barack Obama's book, Promised Land, still continuing to read it. It's like a 700-page banger, and I only read like 10 pages a day. So still working on that sucker. And also, I watched an interview with Tucker Carlson and Trump. Whether you like one of them or you hate the other one, I don't really care, because I'm just trying to get both sides of the aisle. And additionally, Mike Baker, he was on Joe Rogan recently. He's really good with geopolitics. He used to work for the CIA. I like Mike Baker. I think he's a cool dude. Either way, and he's really non-biased. He doesn't seem to care either way. He's kind of just stating what he's learning. So it's kind of on the right, on the left, in the middle, and it's a nice rounded perspective. And I believe if you're too hard on one type of perspective, it's probably a really good idea to dive into this and ask myself, is this an experience that I suffered from as a child? Or why do I have such a negative relationship with this? Because there's nothing concrete about any particular thing that should tear us up on the inside. We shouldn't allow that to happen. We shouldn't give it permission to torture us, whether this is you're really against cigarettes, whether it's you're against people who overeat, whether it's against you're drinking alcohol, whether it's against any particular bad habit, or you're even against somebody who maybe not even on that extreme of a bad habit, but someone who's just on the other side of an aisle. We were just talking about politics. Someone believes on the other side of the aisle than what you do. And so you just like ban them. Asking the questions of like, am I open to new ideas and experiences, I think can be really helpful. Next question is, how do I handle criticism and feedback? Can you handle criticism or do you get pissed off? I know for a long time, people would correct me and try to fix something I got going on, and I would be living. I'd be like, who are you to tell me this and that? And then I started to realize, holy crap, this is actually only hurting myself. And I can have a true competitive advantage if I'm just willing to listen to people. I'm willing to take their advice. Just because I listen to somebody doesn't mean I got to completely change every aspect of my life, but it's really hard to learn when you're talking. It's really hard to learn when you're talking. I know I do a lot of talking on this show, but I got to do a lot of listening to get the ammo and the ammunition to be able to have these talking points, these questions, et cetera, et cetera. So if I can listen more often, I can take the criticism, I can take the feedback, then I can implement this new information and continue to push my skills and allow myself to take on even bigger challenges. We can't take on bigger challenges if we don't develop our skill set. And I think this is one of the crucial ones we need to ask ourselves is, can we handle criticism? Can we handle feedback from people? And yeah, someone might be an asshole and say this about you, say that about you. Oh, they're criticizing this and that. And it's like, why are they even saying that? And is there an opportunity for me to improve myself? Because my experience, what I got going on, I'm the center of the universe. That's my only reality, right? So I might as well try to improve it and not be emotional about it just because some Joe Schmo said something that I thought wasn't very nice. Okay. Do I view challenges as opportunities or obstacles? Framing is beyond important. Framing, perspective. How do you view this? Do I view challenges as opportunities or obstacles? And this is a little bonus I wanted to save till the end, but I'm going to throw it on there anyway. This like have to versus get to. So much of our pain, so much of why I'm mad all the time is because I'm like, oh, I have to do this morning show. Oh, I have to write this blog. Oh, I have to reach out to these people. I'm just so pissed off and angry at the world because I have to do this or that. When you peel back the layers of the onion, I'm very aware, like, holy crap, I live in America. I have healthy genetics. I have love. I have support. We're working towards our goals. The golden nugget, the project that you want to work on while you're in your youth, like that to me seems like the ultimate goal. And I get to do this day in and day out. So how you view things is absolutely incredible. And do I view challenges as opportunities or obstacles? Like, I love that question of what else would I be doing with my time? Like, well, I don't want to just work my life away. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to work forever. You don't have to work every minute you're awake. But just answer me like, like, what else are you going to do? Are you just going to sit around and drink alcohol? Is that what you actually want to do? Are you going to just eat eat around, or go out to eat a lot, or watch television? Or I don't have a problem with people not working. I just want to know what I would be doing with my time. Like, what else would I do? And do I want to do that more than, say, do my writing or do my recording or just looking up new ideas or reaching out and networking? Like, what do I want to do with my time? I think these are good ways to look at the challenges that come up and view them as opportunities and not obstacles. Next up is, what is my attitude towards change? So the only constant in the universe we talk about is change. Things will continue to change, whether when you're young and you're getting into your adulthood, you're older, decades have lapsed. What is your attitude towards change? I think people tend to struggle with, myself included, of course, I can only speak from personal experience, tends to see change as scary. There's fear in that. It's the world of the unknown. And when things are too unknown, then they tend to make us a little anxious and a little scared and a little fear. And I think when we don't push ourselves very hard for a long time, we get used to whatever we're used to. And there's this massive amount of fear that comes in and builds up when we haven't been willing to do the work that's necessary for us to improve as individuals. Very, very scary. So if you haven't changed, you haven't done things, you haven't traveled, yet you've been locked into these bad habits for like 40, 50 years, of course it's fucking scary. Of course, right? But what is my attitude towards change? It's going to change regardless. It's just, how is it going to change? That's that weird paradox. People, myself included, of course, right? I'm scared to change, but I'm going to change no matter what. I'm going to get older. I'm going to die. Like, everything ages. Nothing is permanent. They talk about how everything's temporary in Eastern philosophy. It's like, dude, yes, impermanence is real. And I'm going to change regardless. But what way am I going to change? Am I going to develop a growth mindset, like what we're talking about here today is unlocking success to the power of the growth mindset? Or am I going to just grow old, decay, and die? We look under the microscope and we're able to see plant life. The only way that we know that it's alive is if the cells are continuing to grow and develop. And if it's not, then we're dying. And we want to be able to have a good attitude towards change, understand that it's inevitable no matter what it is that we do, and then ask, what is my attitude about this? How do I feel about change? What areas do I want to change? Where can I change? Great questions asked. A little bonus before we move on to the benefits for today is, what is my response to failure or setbacks? And I put this one in as a bonus because I wanted to keep it kind of like the 5 and 5 thing. This is something that's a little undersold and pretty much impossible to understand until you're going through it. And I'm sure, like many other experiences in life, whether it's having children, moving across the world, or whatever, it's hard to put into words. There's no amount of books that are going to teach you this feeling or this emotion that's going to arise. But for example, there's a lot of recording that I'm doing for a class, and I want it to be absolutely money. And there's a lot of like sharing of the exercises and going through the tutorials, trying to make them as good as possible. And lots of mistakes are made. Video errors come up, technology errors come up, and all of these stuff. And then it seems like I'm spinning my wheels a lot. It's like, holy crap. It's a feeling that you're not used to it. And you're like, damn, I really failed today. And they talk about how important failure is, but until you feel it, and then you're like, oh crap, I'm not making any money right now. I really need to get this product on the shelves and going, and this and that. And you let your mind space go too far out from the present moment, then it can be really scary. And then it hits even harder. Like this internal pressure that we create, that's just a bunch of bullshit, not totally true. And we just create this pressure for ourselves. And then when it comes to failing, it hurts that much worse. So I think learning to cope or learning to take in the failures, the only way to do this is to experience it. So if you can go out and you can fail at something today, or you can be bad at something today, and you can detach the emotion from it and understand that just because that didn't work perfectly doesn't mean my self-worth has gone down. Our self-worth is not tied to a task. Our self-worth is not tied to a task. And I think it's easy to get that mixed up when we have setbacks, when we fail. It's like, the only true way, failure is such a weird word because you only actually fail is when you quit. So if we just avoid the fatal sin of entrepreneurship, quitting, then we kind of keep going. And having a positive mindset about it and understanding, am I going to fail on the journey to success? Yes or yes. Am I going to fail on the journey to success? Yeah, totally. No one just makes it to the top with no failures or setbacks. It's just hard when it actually hits us and it's reality and you feel it in your chest and you start to see it. It can be really tough and it's painful. There's no way about it, but continue to handle it appropriately and acknowledge that it's the emotion's only as strong as you make it. And I think we can ask these questions, get more familiar and comfortable with it, and really help the quality of our lives. Okay, questions. Those were actually 6 questions. So we went through these questions really quick, and go ahead and keep these, write these down, answer them, share with people, do what you got to do, get all those answers out to help with that, developing that growth mindset. Okay, what is the benefit of this? Okay, Tanner, you're talking about, you got these questions, you're viewing challenges, how you're handling criticism, all these questions on how to develop a growth mindset. But why would I do that? What is the benefit of that? Okay, embracing challenges is one of the greatest feelings that humans can take on. It just is. You want problems. You want to solve problems. You want to grow and develop, or else you'll feel like you're dying on the inside. This is the sad truth about pleasure versus like enjoyment and achievement. We don't want to just, if you just sat around and ate cookies all day until the day you died, like that would be called pleasure. And that's actually a lot of pain. You just get diabetes and then you get overweight and you look like shit and you feel like crap and your systems are all jacked up. Like, we want the challenges of working out. We want the challenges of learning new things. We want the challenges of overcoming obstacles. We want the challenges of overcoming setbacks. We want these challenges, and embracing challenges is actually one of the huge benefits. It's like, oh, Tanner, life coach, shut up. I don't want problems. It's like, dude, no, you do want problems. Because if you don't have problems, life is so excruciatingly boring that it drives us into depression. It really does. We need these problems. So if it helps or makes you feel better this Friday, if you got a problem, kind of try and flip it on its head and realize, well, at least I have problems and I'm alive, versus just being bored to death and not having anything to do. That's, I think, way worse. Next up, benefit of leveraging a growth mindset is continuous learning. Aristotle, Socrates, Plato, all of these guys, however many years ago it was, like 2 or 3 centuries ago. No, it's millennium. This understanding that taking in knowledge and information is super powerful, and it makes us feel really, really good. So make it a priority and a goal. We talk about learning on this channel all the time, and it's because it's not going stale anytime soon. Continue to devour, continue to ask yourself these questions, continue to benefit, and have that leverage, that growth mindset by having continuous learning. And when you got the growth mindset, you develop and you understand, I actually want to learn. It's okay to want to learn. It's okay to want to work towards your goals. Sometimes it feels like this fatal sin to like work really hard on myself and be selfish about it. It's like, that's actually the greatest gift you can give to the world, is just being a better you. So continuous learning. Next is adaptability. We talked about how change is the only constant of the universe, and being able to adapt to change, to grow, because everything else is changing around us. And when we stay the same and everything around us is changing, that's when it comes really tough to be social, to be loved, to connect, to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. Think of someone who's old and who refuses to change. They refuse to change. They're like frozen in this little time capsule. They refuse to change, and they do not adapt to how language is taken in. They do not adapt to people's emotions. They do not adapt to technology. They do not adapt. Do they feel good? Yes or no? No, they probably feel like shit. They probably feel terrible. They're probably mad at the world. They're probably mad at themselves. They probably feel pain all the time. Hurt people hurt people. And when you do not adapt, you die. And you age, you decay, and it literally feels like you're dying on the inside. So we just really want to, the benefit of this, of having a leveraging a growth mindset, is you are able to adapt. You are able to change and continue to press, continue to address the problems in your life, address that, oh, wow, someone said something and I don't care. It turns out you totally have the option to do that. I didn't know that for multiple decades of my life. And now that I've accepted that, I'm like, wow, that person has an opinion and it doesn't change me. Whoa, wow. It turns out we don't have to do that. We can adapt and we can change, and how people view things is it's constantly going to change. So I'm not going to get upset about it. Okay. Next up is happiness. So by letting go of all this bull crap and being willing to change, being willing to embrace problems, being willing to continue to learn, we'll have happiness more often. I believe happiness is the state of enjoyment. Enjoyment is joy in general, is really the feeling that I'm going for. Joy is what gives me happiness. And I believe that I can practice to have more joy. All I got to do is take my attention. So you got think of a spotlight, because you can only have one thought at a time. Go ahead, if you want to try it, the exercise, try and have 2 different thoughts at once. It's impossible. And you take the spotlight and you direct it on happiness. And then you think, okay, what could I do to make myself happy right now? Genuinely, this takes practice. It sounds crazy, but it really does work. Practice and happiness go hand in hand. It's just like any other skill. Like we talked about the violin, anything in music, anything in sports. Happiness is no different. It's a skill. And I believe that with the right practice, with asking the right questions and understanding the right benefits to our own situation in lives, we can be happy more often. Okay, we have another one, innovation and creativity. So what is the benefit of leveraging a growth mindset? Coming in last is innovation and creativity. So when we have a growth mindset and we see the problems come in. So for example, I have a problem with communicating with one of my students in one of my classes. I see the problem. I understand the problem. I fix the problem. And then I fix the problem for when I have to deal with it again. So I have innovated, I have continued to grow, and I've continued to improve. And I was like, okay, this problem's come up 3 times now in the last week. How about I can address this and add this, or I can reach out to tech support and see if they can help me with this. Tech support comes back with a good answer. I'm like, oh, well, maybe I can just make it around using creativity to kind of shape a new solution to the problem. So you can see how when you act, there's so many studies that back and prove that when you are in a positive state of mind, it's a lot easier to solve problems. It's a lot easier to be creative. It's a lot easier to come up with new ideas, to just handle situations with the right tools and the right framework. So if we can be more positive, if we can adopt this growth mindset, I believe innovation and creativity will shine through, whether it's you say you're doing your own morning show to create a waterfall of content. Say if you have your own class that you're teaching, say if you got rental properties or whatever you got going on, your business, see how when you have a growth mindset that it doesn't change your ability to innovate, to improve. Leave these negative bullcrap stories and emotions on the sidelines. And so you can really be an A player on the field. And I believe having a growth mindset and benefiting of leveraging a growth mindset will allow us to give us these things. So for my shorts, before I wrap up here this morning, good morning. Thanks for tuning in with us this morning. So we went over quite a bit. And for my short form videos, we went over 5 questions to create a growth mindset. First is, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn from this experience when we run into a setback, an obstacle, something like that? Next question, am I open to new ideas and perspectives? When I am a vegan, am I looking at the carnivore diet? Am I creating a round, broad understanding of knowledge and supporting why it is I believe in what I believe in? Next, how do I handle criticism and feedback? Am I able to take criticism and improve myself without getting pissed off? Very valuable. Do I view challenges as opportunities or obstacles? Challenges as opportunities and obstacles. We talked about, it's not that we want a life with 0 problems. That'd be extremely boring to the point of depression. We don't want that. So how do I view these obstacles? Do I see them as opportunities? Next is, what is my attitude towards change? The only constant in the universe, change. So how do I view it? Am I changing in the right direction? Am I changing in a way of growth? Am I improving my life? And of course, the bonus question we had is, what is my response to failure or setbacks? It's not about whether or not you're going to get knocked down, right? You're going to get knocked down. Maybe this Friday, maybe this weekend, maybe someone butthole says something that pisses you off, but we're going to get back up. So cheers to that. That's all I had for today. Additionally was some of these benefits, but this was Unlocking Success, the Power of a Growth Mindset. Adopt a growth mindset and enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday, y'all. And I will be back here bright and early, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, with another episode of the Talk Tanner Morning Show, Monday morning at 8 a.m. So cheers, friends. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. In case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Let's go dominate today. Answer some of these questions, leverage some of these benefits of a growth mindset, and help other people. Cheers, friends. See you next time.